the process of elimination. We pulled all of our parts out of the bed of the truck. I was able to get a few things put on. You know, we're still going to have to pull it off, put it on, pull it off, put it on. It's one of the processes of elimination that I personally do. Put the grill back on it, put the headlights back in it, just stab the radiator. Put the air box on it, put the fluid, whatever, put that on there. Battery box, electric box. I pulled that old wiring harness out. I test fitted one of our other hoses that we had that came off the motor. It's got a better bend to it coming in there so it don't kink. Now it's got to go back in there a little bit more, obviously. I don't know if you can even see down in there. But right there it went on there. But you know, with that in there, you're just not going to be able to do nothing with nothing on getting stuff tight. Still got that bolt out of the back of that. I found the bolt that goes in there. We got to cut the back of that firewall out. I stabbed that fuel line in there loosely. Obviously, I got to take it apart and clean the injectors and stuff too. But it's loosely on there, and that ain't on that stud. You know, I might give you a little more room with that stud, but you can see them flat spots on it where I tried to leave it on there and smack that firewall, but I was able to roll that whole motor. I mean, dude, I just laid it completely over. It just spun right around for me easily. But to put that intake back on it, to get that intake on it, you know, that fuel rail's kind of in the way. But we still gotta play with that motor mount down there. Now that I got that bolt in there crooked, I might not have that hole slotted enough. We gotta get that plate up there flat. We gotta make a bracket for the front of this. We do have some templates that we've used on the truck so far if anybody's interested. You know, if they want to make a donation, they want to grab those up, that's cool. I mean, I'll send them out in the mailbox, autograph it. I got some little blocks of wood that we did up, and I'll throw them in there too. If you guys are interested in a little bit of leather goods, I think I got 1 or 2 wallets for sale. I got 1 wallet for sale. It's all hand stitched, all that. So that would help support this if somebody wanted to grab a homemade wallet. I think it's got the 1 pocket on it or something like that. And I can't remember. I think I gave one of those keychains away. I can't remember. But I do have a 3 pocket, and I'll just probably keep that one. I could probably let that AWP lighter holder go with that wallet, the other one that I got put up. So I really don't want to get rid of my boot wallet. It's kind of almost, I like it kind of big so it can't come out of my pocket real easy, because I'm bad about wearing something come out of your pocket easy, and I gotta make a lighter holder to match that wallet. So anywho, back to what we're doing. I got this factory wiring harness just kind of laid up here. We had to put some stuff together and eyeball it visually to see exactly what is what. I did stick that manifold up there. Now I might be able to take a piece of pipe and stick it above that and use this factory manifold. Gotta have it really, because it's got vacuum lines, and it's got the manifold's got to go on it, but that factory box to hook all this other jazz up or whatever. So it'll probably, you know, just an extension pipe. You have to get an extra boot maybe. I don't know. We'll figure out something. You know, we need something in here to kind of visualize what stuff got to go together. We got to pull the dash out next and cut. You know, organized mess here. Organized mess. I just picked the tools up enough to where we can clean up enough to whatever. So, next thing's next. We'll have to pull the dash. Once we get the dash back, I'm going to see if I can keep that bar on there, because I'm going to take that other wiring harness we got and lay it over across this bar. Now, will that work? Is there enough room? Can we still keep our windows rolling up and down with the factory wiring harness? Can we make the horn work with the multifunction switch and all of that? Now, I don't know. Can we make these heater controls work to where the whatever will work? Hopefully we can. Hopefully the headlights work. Hopefully the brake lights, all that work. We just want to be able to cut us a hole in here somewhere to put that key in there for that other wiring harness, and you know, we'll have to have the extra stuff in here minus the heater box itself. That's a game plan. Now I'm just picking up. I'm gonna maybe stick the hood back on it or whatever too. That way when we shut this hood and stuff, we know what everything's going to kind of do. That keeps the motor dry. We got the intake off of it and stuff like that. I was looking for the bolts. I can't find the bolts, so I got to find the bolts. I got a little nut that fell off right in behind this little spot to change the oil. There'll be enough room to change the oil. See, it's just kind of sitting down right there. There's enough room. So it's got to be picked up, and then we'll have to figure out what it takes to take it back about an inch. Like I say, we're hitting solid here in that corner. Whatever's going on right there where them spot welds are, boy, she's solid. But the motor will just have to come up like maybe an inch or so, and then we can figure out motor mounts once we cut this firewall. We got to pull the dash. To pull that dash, it's going to be a lot. So I got out here and did what we could, you know, pick up some parts, put some parts on, you know, just kind of eyeballing stuff, seeing where it's going to be. Obviously, we got to get rid of all these grinding sparks and glitter. My foot got eat up. So we got to blow all this out, spray it out, do something. Might pull this truck backwards once we get our mess cleaned up. I got to fix the wheelbarrow. So today we'll probably be scabbing that wheelbarrow. You see all that stuff I got laid out there. That way we can pick it up, put it somewhere, and then pull some other stuff out of our mess and bring down to maybe, well, this is what's got to go with this and whatever. But we got to get the wheelbarrow fixed so we can move all our stuff. It makes it easy to pack the tools in and out too. Or, you know, get what I need and bring it down here. You know, you pile it all in there. If you don't, it bends up and the wheel touches the bottom there. It's still too wonky. We got to weld it out solid. I talked to the neighbor, said he don't ever want it back. So we got to clean out in here. We just got to do a few things. Got to clean it up. Got to clean our mess, get organized to make another mess. That's kind of the way it helps me get through things, to be able to put it back together. You know, if it's scattered 100 fudge places, it's just, that's what it is. It's scattered too much. Not saying you can't put it back together, it just makes it harder. So, you need to get the hood on it and figure out what's what on the next move. Definitely got to pull the dash. We got to fix this wheelbarrow first. So I want to make sure I've got all the pieces together that's going to go for the motor together. And then once we get that dash pulled out, we get that firewall cut and the motor up, and there's room, like you can get in there and everything's going to have its own little bit of room. We can put the manifold back on it, make sure that's going to be good. We need to find a little extension piece or a piece of pipe to where we can stick that air box up there and make sure the hood's going to shut and the hoses plug up. We can hook all the motor harness up and stick our wiring harness there. Once you stick that wiring harness on through there and it's powered up, that's another thing we got to figure out. Make sure it's going to have its own little bit of room, or whatever we got to do to make it have enough room for it. Looks like the battery's in the way. You know, the way it fit up there on that car, it was like right there where the battery would be. But you got to make sure there's enough room with that plug, and you know, it kind of came through the firewall, it ran up this way, and it had another one that ran up through the side for the whatever it needed. So I don't want to dedicate to completely wiring all that up to that other wiring harness. But if that's what it takes, that's what we'll do. You know, that'd take a long time. That'd take a long time. Absolutely. But, you know, if it's something we have to do to make it work, that's what we'll do. It had power windows, all that too, so it's not a big deal. But next thing's next. We just kind of picking up, got to clean up, and we got to do the wheelbarrow. Then we can focus on, with the wheelbarrow, you know, you can throw all your parts and stuff in it and get it to where you can put it to where it'll be whatever. And then, you know, cut. Once we cut, make room, got to get the motor mounts and, you know, take it off, put it back together. We get that other wiring harness in there. Once you cut that firewall, you got the dash out. Cut the wiring, or get that wiring harness scabbed in there some way, somehow. But I want to check with the battery to make sure the windows are going to roll up and down without that engine harness being plugged up to that. So, you know, that wiring harness to the motor was plugged up to that box. So we need to make sure our other stuff works. Headlights, taillights, turn signals. We'll take it and hook it all up. Make sure that it's going to be good without that being in it. And kind of continue from there.